Alright guys, so if there's anything that I've noticed lately, there's been a pattern of a lot of true wireless earbud companies offering active noise canceling. But the other pattern that I'm noticing is there's a lot of companies that aren't really doing this very well. So the pair we're going to check out today is hoping to look at the other side, which is giving you some impressive active noise canceling and some really nice features while keeping the price low. And the pair we're going to check out is the brand new JLab JBuds Air ANC. Now this pair comes in at only $69, and on top of having active noise canceling, it also has an awareness mode so that you can hear some of your surroundings. It has a low latency mode so that if you're watching movies or videos, it cuts down on any kind of lag. And they also have built-in EQ settings so that you're easily able to switch between 3 different sound modes without having to have an app. And they also have 12mm drivers crammed inside of these small earbuds. But we're going to check out some of the other specs, what you get inside the box, and see if it's worth that $69 price tag. So to start with, on top of having Bluetooth 5.0, they also have an IP55 rating, which means they're water and dust resistant, which makes them a pair that you can go out and about and you don't have to worry if it starts to rain or if they happen to get splashed on. But still keep in mind, this is not a pair that you can submerge into water. Now, as far as what they're including inside the box, you are getting the usual small, medium, and large silicone ear tips, but on top of that, they've also included a set of foam ear tips as well. Another thing that I've learned throughout the course of this channel is some people just don't like silicone ear tips or just personally prefer to use foam ear tips, and I think it's nice that you have that option right out of the box. Now on top of that, they do include what they call an ear fin, which is basically a silicone ear cushion that goes around the earbud. So if you do have a larger ear, it just helps make them grip a little easier, and it makes it where they don't move around as much. And so this is normally the part where I say the charging cable that's included, but what I do like about these and what some people either love or hate is the fact that JLab has the charging cable already connected to the case. It's already built in, so you don't have to keep up with an extra cable. It just makes it more convenient. It is a small cable, which I think is one of the main complaints. Also the fact that people say, well, what if something happens to the cable? I do know that JLab has a warranty, so if something does happen to the cable, they'll just simply replace it. But again, I understand some people's complaints here. I personally like the fact that the cable's connected. It just gives me less that I have to keep up with. And speaking of the charging cable, battery life is very impressive on these, whether you're using the active noise canceling or not. Now, if you decide to use these with the noise canceling turned off, you're going to get around 10 hours of battery life on the earbuds with around 40 hours total using the case. Now, if you do decide to use these with the noise canceling turned on, you're still going to get around 6 hours of battery life on the earbud with around 24 hours total using the case. So whether you're using them with noise canceling on or off, that's still some of the best battery life that I've seen. Now, if you do happen to pick the earbuds up and they are dead, they also have a fast charge feature where a quick 15-minute charge will get you an hour's worth of use. Now, moving over to looking at the charging case, like I said, the charging cable is built in here. On the front, you can see the 3 indicator lights so that you can kind of gauge how much battery life is left on the case. Now, moving over to looking at the earbuds, these do use touch controls, but I do have one complaint with the controls, and it's the fact that it doesn't give you the ability to skip back to your previous track. So you have control over everything else and then some. There's a lot of controls on these earbuds. You have the ability to play and pause your track. You have the ability to go forward. You also have volume control. They also give you the ability to switch these into movie mode, which is their low latency mode. They give you the ability to switch between the 3 different EQ settings, which is the JLab signature sound, the balance sound, or the bass boost mode. And they also give you the ability to turn your active noise canceling on, turn it off, or turn it into awareness mode so that you can hear some of your surroundings. Now, as far as the noise canceling on here, the one thing I do want to point out is this doesn't compete with Sony's, $200 plus model or the one more ANCs that are $200 or any other pair that's $200. I think you do have to kind of curb your expectations a little bit if you're only spending $70 on a pair of active noise canceling earbuds. But I will say, as far as budget ANC earbuds go, the JBuds Air ANC is doing some of the most impressive active noise canceling that I've heard. So if I put the Sonys and the One Mores maybe at a 10 or a 9, I would put the JBuds probably at a 6 or a 7. Now it doesn't give you that vacuum suctioning feeling that some earbuds give you when it comes to noise canceling, so it's going to be a lot more pleasing to listen to, but it's also not going to block out as much of your surroundings. Now I feel like it does a very good job with low rumble noises like ACs or buses or planes or trains. So if you're somebody that travels and you're looking to block out some of those sound, I think they do an excellent job at that. But I feel like when it comes to voices or anything that's a little higher pitch, those higher frequencies do get in a little bit from time to time. But again, this is a pair that is $69, and I think the active noise canceling is going to impress a lot of people. Now, for you guys that like to use your earbuds individually, you'll be happy to know that you can use either the left or the right, because the JLab is using a dual connect feature, which basically means your phone or tablet or whatever you're connected to is sending a signal to both earbuds individually. So it's having it where one earbud is not depending on the other. Now, as far as the mics on here, they're using what they call their C3 technology, which stands for crystal clear clarity. And I think the mics on here are doing a fairly decent job. But you guys can judge by listening to a test here. Alright guys, so here is the mic test using the JBuds Air ANC. Again, like I said, I think it does a fairly decent job of picking up my voice. But this is what it would sound like if you were to take a call. And so now here is the mic test with the crowd noise being played, which you can hear here. And so this is what it would sound like if you were to take a call in public. So now before we talk about the sound, this is normally the part where I like to play some samples. That way you guys can kind of hear some of the characteristics of the earbuds themselves. And the best way to do this is to put on your favorite pair of headphones or earbuds so that it allows you to hear those details a little better. But here's some samples for you guys to check out here. So now that you guys have heard some samples, I want to give you my opinion on the sound overall. Now I am going to judge this based off JLab's signature sound EQ setting. They do have the bass boosted mode, which I feel like boosts the bass a little too much. And then they have a balance mode, which I think pulls away everything and makes it just sound very, very flat. And some people prefer that sound signature. I'm just not a fan of it. So the JLab signature sound is boosting your bass, but also boosting the treble so that it kind of balances out a little bit better. And it's doing exactly that. You have a very thick, punchy bass that's just not rolling over your mids and the highs, while you have a very clear, detailed treble. I feel like details of songs come through extremely well, but it still allows me to feel the impact of bass, which is what I prefer. And I feel like the mids are exactly where they need to be. They're right up front where you hear vocalists very cleanly. They don't ever feel like they get lost in that very boomy bass or the very detailed treble. The mids to me have a natural tone to it, which is what I prefer. But when it comes to the soundstage and the sound imaging, I will say that I wish that they sounded just a little bit more open. They do sound like you're in a medium to large size room, but they definitely handle details with no problem. So I can tell where different instruments are coming from, and I think they're doing a very good job, especially considering the fact that they're a dynamic sounding earbud, because usually that makes you feel like you're just in front of two large size speakers, and I will definitely say that these feel a little bit more open than that. Now, as much as I'm impressed with these earbuds, I do have a couple of cons with these. One is I don't like the fact that I can't go back to the previous track. I don't understand this decision, and I wish that they would have done this differently. And then my only other complaint is really not a complaint for me, but a complaint for others, is that built-in charging cable is going to be a turnoff for some people because they are worried that something might happen, or they just want a longer cable, and you just really don't get that option because of that cable just being built in onto the case. But outside of that, the JBuds Air ANC is an incredible pickup for $70. If you want some really decent noise canceling with some very dynamic sound and incredible battery life and having the convenience of having the cable built in, this is basically like an all-in-one package that's really impressive for $70. But guys, that's my video on the brand new JLab JBuds Air ANC. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Thank you so much for checking out all the other videos. And as always, make sure to stay tuned for more.